Chosen one, be still. When the world quiets and only your heartbeat remains, that isn't emptiness, it's alignment. The universe pauses when a soul finally says yes to its own calling. A doorway opens, not in front of your body, but within your awareness. The air feels charged, as if reality itself is waiting for your next thought. The moment is sacred not because of thunder or spectacle, but because of silence. Revelation doesn't always arrive as lightning. Sometimes it's a whisper that simply says, now. In that stillness you feel a key turn, the lock of timing releasing. Every not yet you've ever heard dissolves. The opportunities that once seemed sealed begin to shift. The path in front of you is clear because you finally stopped searching for permission and started hearing the signal. Elon Musk's name here stands for action. The courage to step through the door once it appears. Technology pushes boundaries. Spirit does the same. Together they form the echo of a greater truth. Once the door opens, it cannot be shut. As heavenly light pours through the opening, the hinges move gently but steadily. Perhaps you've been waiting so long that your optimism has waned. Perhaps you have seen chances pass you by and doors shut, and you may have thought, perhaps I missed it. However, God has not forgotten you. He was building your strength so that you would have the bravery to enter through this door when it opened. A guy who prayed in silence for years was once another chosen one. Every route he took ended in another wall, and every scheme he attempted fell apart. Tired of asking why, he sank on his knees one night and said, I still trust you. The next morning, he made a breakthrough. However, it was his character, not his circumstances, that really transformed. Before his eyes ever saw the gateway, he knew that faith had constructed it. It's your time now. The purpose of this door is elevation, not escape. You will soar above it as you pass through it, not leave anything behind. Imagine yourself in front of a magnificent light-based gate. On its surface, you see your dazzling reflection, stronger, wiser, and older than before. The waiting season is behind you. The walking season is ahead of you. But Lord, what if I fail? You say, and heaven responds, failure cannot follow you through this door. Every tear you shed turned into the oil that now anoints your entry. The door hums with strength, waiting for your yes. Each heartache made room for the new splendor that would soon fill you. This is a prize for perseverance rather than perfection. The sound you hear is fate breathing, so pay careful attention. If you want to claim this message, you can show your support by paying a super thanks amount of up to $20 and typing 1111. The soul around you is the breeze stroking your skin. You have been sent here by divine appointment, not by chance. This door opens for you even if it has been locked for others. It's satisfaction, not favoritism. The time is perfect. The grace is prepared. Heaven speaks again. Step through. There is no need to be afraid. The angels are watching. You will go through the door with the same God who opens it. Once you cross, you will be covered by the same light that beckons to you. On the other side, there will be revelation rather than doubt, a better understanding of who you are in Him. Breathe, stand strong, and let your faith to guide your actions. Now is your time. Don't scroll beyond this word if it makes you feel anything. Consider this message as evidence that the cry of heaven has been heard. As a prophetic act, comment on the number 14 below, indicating that you are entering your season of divine opportunities. Subscribe if you haven't already to be informed about heaven's next releases. Choose one. The door is open. It won't wait indefinitely. Take a step forward and see how everything transforms. This is the answer to several unsaid prayers. It is not simply another moment. This barrier is the result of every quiet season and unseen conflict. You were guided here. You did not stray. The stars have lined up. Your faith has turned into the key that opens this door, and the timing couldn't be more ideal. The world may seem the same when you enter, yet something within of you will change. You will provide clarity where there was uncertainty and calm where there was fear. The environment will be aware of your transition. Thus, raise your head, keep your heart firm, and go with courage. The door is a promise, not a test. Now is the time to pass through it before reluctance seals off what heaven has unlocked. The draw is palpable. It starts off subtly, like a gentle vibration at the core of your being. Gently, almost tenderly, yet authoritatively. The attraction is one that wakes rather than one that demands. Everything else temporarily disappears as the air around you seems to be electrified with an unseen purpose. Your chest lifts with recognition rather than dread. It's an old sensation. It is the same force that dragged Peter from the boat, beckoned Abraham away from his nation, and inspired Esther to bravery. It's a subdued, persistent, and sacred cadence of heavenly invitation. You've made an effort to rationalize it, yet the emotion is greater than ever. Heaven seems to have attached an unseen thread to your heart and started pulling it in the direction of its proper location. You stay still, yet everything within you starts to move. Moments when you should have quit, but didn't. Evenings when you prayed in the dark and somehow woke up with fresh strength. Memories come flooding back. Those moments weren't arbitrary. They served as the cornerstones of this hour. This is God's way, as stated in Jeremiah 31:31, 3:3. I have loved you with an everlasting love. I have drawn you with unfailing kindness. This pull isn't control, it's compassion. He doesn't always yell. Sometimes he just pulls repeatedly until your will is in line with his whisper. It's favor, not coercion. God is attracting you, not pulling you. Heaven is closer than your breath, since each pulse serves as a reminder. Inside your chest, you begin to feel a divine magnetism. You believe it's good, even if you can't see where it goes. You understand that this pull is an attempt to awaken something within of you rather than to take anything away. A lady who lived in silent submission once existed. All the doors she attempted to unlock were locked. However, she spoke a simple prayer one evening. God, if you still want me, pull me closer. After that, things started to change within of her rather than outside of her. Fears were silent. After her beliefs gained traction, she suddenly found herself being pursued by possibilities rather than the other way around. Her posture was altered by the pull. That's what you're going through. The pull is preparation, not punishment. It's forming your answer prior to the subsequent order. It is unpleasant at times, because the frequency you're tuned to is no longer the same. Those who formerly understood, you can now see you differently. Your spirit is realigned to the beat of heaven by the pull. You begin to appreciate the beauty in the little things, like the way sunshine streams through the curtains or the sound of laughing in the distance. It all seems like affirmation. God is close. You start to see that alignment, not effort, is what obedience is all about. Peace takes over when you cease to fight. You just need his presence now. You don't need all the answers. Right now, your spirit is like a compass that trembles as it discovers true north. Resistance just wears you out, and destiny's magnetic field has found you. But when you yield, you become free. The attraction becomes more powerful. You are being refined and layers of dread are being removed. It is not hurrying you. You come to see that you have always been carried by the same hands that are drawing you ahead. Permission to follow is all that is required. There is no compulsion to perform. The pull is evidence that you are being observed. If you want to claim this message, you can show your support by paying a super thanks amount of up to $20 and typing 1111. Let the present lead you. It's heaven's way of telling you, you still matter. You are still chosen. Have faith in the pull. Every action you perform in reaction turns into a religious act. There is a germ of change in every surrender. Until you are precisely where you are supposed to be, the pull won't stop. When you shut your eyes, the pull turns into a pulse that synchronizes with your heartbeat. It just requests permission. It makes no demands for evidence. You mutter in the quiet, "Yes, Lord." Suddenly, calm descends around you like a cozy shroud. The unknown now seems like a promise that is just waiting to be realized rather than a danger. The world appears to soften when you breathe. Connection becomes more important than direction in the pull. He is asking you to go deeper into life rather than away from it. You'll soon discover how every delay becomes divine timing and every doubt becomes harmony. Just follow the pull for the time being, as each step you take in faith creates a new gateway inside yourself. At 14 minutes, the countdown starts. Even if it doesn't seem like much, your soul understands that it's a window of heaven and more than time. Heaven's clock is not the same as man's. The weight of a whole destiny may be contained in 14 earthly minutes. You can feel the haste, but it's holy precision rather than panic. Everything has a certain time allotted by God, including when to move, talk, and pass across. You own this. The time is running out, not to scare you, but to help you stay focused. Every second reminds you that delayed compliance is still disobedience, resounding like a drum from forever. This isn't because God is impatient, but rather because favorable circumstances don't last forever. Chapter 3, verse 1 of the book of Ecclesiastes states, "To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under heaven." These statements remain relevant today. There is a time of manifestation for every goal. Heaven has been waiting for your yes. The countdown is a symbol of luxury rather than pressure. You've been waiting for years. God is saying, "I've synchronized this moment with your readiness." Picture a rocket spending days on the launch pad. The countdown starts to activate the mission rather than endanger it. That's where you are. The sequence of the divine launch has begun. Your heart is aware of it. Heaven's pace is rushing through your veins. Even while everything around you seems normal, there's a lot of activity in the invisible world. Angels are in place. Grace at her best. Destiny opens its doors. This isn't about hurrying. Rather, it's about seeing that God acts in clarity rather than confusion. The countdown is urgency wrapped in clarity. Heaven's way of telling you, don't linger where I've already moved on. You think back to the times you were hesitant, when possibilities were lost due to fear that caused you to wait too long. This time, however, is different. Your soul is awake this time. The hesitancy that previously controlled you has become silent. The end of one season and the beginning of a new one are right in front of you. That you feel compelled to take action right away is not coincidental. The alignment of the holy clock is remarkable. You look at the invisible clock once more, not out of fear, but out of trust, and you see that the same God who patiently waited through your wilderness is now standing next to you, saying, "Move." The seconds are your friends, not your adversaries. They are escorting you into the prepared area. Every second that goes by is like a new gate opening. This countdown is a promise wrapped in time, not a threat. The distinction is minor but permanent. God is saying step or miss what's next rather than hurry or lose it. Consider a sunrise, an event that cannot be stopped, but one that you can choose to see and take part in. Your sunrise is this countdown. The people around you become more prevalent. If you want to claim this message, you can show your support by paying a super thanks amount of up to $20 and typing 1111. You get the impression that what lies beyond compliance is a new level rather than a new exam. Your spirit starts to sing along as the countdown turns into a song. Heaven grins as you murmur again, "I'm ready." Being ready isn't perfection, it's willingness. God just wants that you be aware enough to recognize His time, not that you know everything. Your terror relaxes in these last moments. Like air coming back into parched lungs, hope surges. The stats are announcing you, not working against you. Each passing moment serves as more evidence that God plans to complete the task He began. Therefore, while the quiet rhythm of heaven's clock continues, let your reaction be straightforward yet genuine. You match your emotions with activity when you say, "I'm stepping in," as a comment. The goal is to firmly establish obedience throughout the world. You're not only reacting when you write, "I'm stepping in," you're making a prediction. By acknowledging that your waiting season is over and your walking season has started, you are concurring with heaven's schedule. Before the door completely opens, there is usually a test of delay. It is a demonstration rather than a punishment. The quiet gap between promise and performance is something that every selected individual must deal with. When faith is clothed with suffering and shorn of comfort. Although it seems like it, delay is not denial. Nothing changes outside as you wait and pray. But something deep is developing within of you. The times when you question whether God is still listening are when he works at his depths. The voice of truth is more steady than your feelings, even if you may feel like giving up. Hold your ground, it says. The delay is completing something inside of you, as stated in James 1 verse 4. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. It's refining, not withholding. Impatience is burned away, reasons are revealed, and trust is polished until it shines like gold through delay. Your heart may not have been prepared to bear what was beyond the door if God had opened it too soon. It was protection, not rejection, that caused the delay. There's a waiting room for every destiny, and yours hasn't been squandered. God has been at work in the background, changing thin. Because worship transforms waiting into strength, the test of delay asks, can you worship while you wait, rather than, can you wait? The deeper the roots, the greater the weight. Silently growing faith can withstand any storm. During dull times, God often conceals his greatest gifts. Often, what seems to be silence is a holy artifice. Not only events, but endurance is what he is cultivating. Although you have seen others advance, strength is not the same as speed. Fast-opening items may also shut quickly. Because it is being forged in fire, what God is providing you will endure. Elijah was a guy who understood the agony of waiting. Before a single cloud showed up, he dispatched his servant to look 7 times. That's persistence, not coincidence. It was sufficient when the tiniest indication appeared. The delay test requires faith without specifics. It teaches you to adore God, not just for what he provides, but also for himself. It turns waiting from suffering into practice. Not simply to taste glory, but to endure it. You are being prepared. The weight seems heavy because of this. It's like lifting weights for your soul. Every unanswered prayer strengthens the foundation for future miracles. Heaven watches while you wait. Angels don't record your comfort. They record your constancy. The sacred area where destiny is reinforced is the challenge of delay. The waiting period will end at the scheduled time. The door will be declared open by the same God who postponed it. You'll see why he kept you waiting. The pause is precious, not meaningless. The quiet you sense is a tactic, not a sign of absence. The work of art is not yet complete. The murmur turns into a roar. After waiting and persevering, the once gentle voice now starts to roar clearly. Heaven is now teaching rather than inviting. The selected react to the sound that the called hear. God's voice now talks in rhythm rather than riddles. Every heartbeat says go. As stated in Proverbs 8:8:34. Blessed are those who listen to me, watching daily at my doors, waiting at my doorway. The door itself starts talking. God's scream becomes clear. It's alignment, not chaos, that's rocking you from the inside out. The earth and heavens are aligning with your obedience. The sound of fate unlocking is this. Now demands what was formerly whispered. As you listen, you become aware that this noise is passing through you rather than simply to you. Yes, turns into an echo. Heaven sends that sound forth each time you comply, reaching another heart that is silently standing. Light travels further with each act or reaction. Sharing this message is like opening a window in a silent home. When you like it, it's like you raising a little lamp in the dark and saying, I hear you, God. You are tying yourself to a stream of truth when you subscribe. Your heart may sometimes be moved by the Spirit to give or contribute more deeply, not out of duty, but rather out of plenty. Your kindness turns into a drop of oil in a light that helps many travelers navigate the fog and return home. Just an invitation, no demands, no pressure. Give joyfully if your heart is aroused. Let it be the manifestation of love. Because a single flame may illuminate a whole valley when it is shared. Your prayers, support, and a simple amen in the comments are all worthless if your season isn't one of financial contribution. Every person tending to the fire makes it burn brighter. The roar goes on. It demands involvement rather than perfection. Heaven wants your reach more than it needs your wealth. We all work together to maintain the sound. You are supporting a message rather than a person when you like, share, or give. You join the roar itself, a voice that reverberates through the ages, bringing light into every dark hallway. The murmur has grown into a roar. The roar now turns into emotion. Enter it. Keep the fire going. Your voice and your act of faith have a greater impact than you may realize. Add your oil, your echo, and your yes. Nothing that is spoken in surrender leaves its mark on eternity. Heaven increases the amount of light you provide. God multiplies in spirit what you sow in private. One day, this identical message will be discovered by someone you've never met, and it will uplift them just as it did you. That is the mechanism of heavenly generosity. It always finds its starting point in love, because giving is ultimately about legacy rather than loss. Make this your prayer for tonight. Lord, keep my flame alive and let it light the way for another. You're in front of the threshold. Now, the noise has subsided and settled into a continuous hum, a tranquility that is alive and almost electric. This signifies what you know. This is what you've been waiting for. The door is ajar. Now that the invitation has been extended, everyone is watching to see what you will do. You breathe slowly. Faith and fear compete for space. You take a step. Everything freezes for a single pulse. Then, like thunder crashing through your soul, you feel your foot hit the invisible boundary. Heaven celebrates silently, with presence rather than clamor. You've crossed the line. Here, the light is clearer and gentler. It has the sensation of force enveloped in calm. You understand that the goal of this voyage was to become someone, not to reach anywhere. This new you walks with divine steadiness because the door wasn't an escape. Rather, it was a mirror that revealed who you've always been beneath the weight of waiting, as stated in Joshua 1 verse 9. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Every action you perform leaves an intangible but indisputable mark of greatness. You look over your shoulder again. Already, the previous season seems far away. The door shuts for protection, not rejection. It is impervious to the past. They put their hands on the barrier, yet they are unable to get through because of regret, uncertainty, and dread. You have entered an area where their language is no longer used. Obedience has its own voice on this side. It serves as a reminder that no time was lost on any delays or unanswered prayers. To get the strength to walk, you needed to wait. Golden light dusts the slightly shimmering way ahead. Just have faith that the person who opened the door will lead the way. You don't have to watch every step. This interaction turns into a holy moment. Peace is what you get when you give up certainty. You acquire understanding and relinquish control. When you let go of the impulse to comprehend, wisdom starts to develop in its stead. Not only have you moved to a new location, but you've also adopted a new rhythm, grace, step, and trust. You now follow the same pattern as heaven. This is the moment that every selected person reaches, a holy crossing. The point at when movement turns into transformation and belief becomes movement. You sense that heaven is keeping track of your obedience and entering each step into the ledger of eternity. Heaven now demands one more act of alignment, a prophecy to commemorate this moment as you stand completely within this new location. Below, leave a comment 555. This is not a random number. The voice of grace doubled is carried by it. The first 5 symbolizes the favor of God. The second, total change brought about by compassion. And the third, rejuvenation. You're not typing numbers when you write 555. Rather, you're announcing, I live in triple grace. You're indicating the precise instant when your faith and heaven's favor clashed. Write it reverently below because you're declaring, I've crossed over and I will not go back. You have now passed through the doorway. The invisible world reacts as soon as you pass across. The opponent panics somewhere in areas you can't see. Because obedience grants power, darkness has always dreaded movement that results from compliance. The whole equilibrium changed the instant you took a step. You broke through what was preventing you from moving ahead. One by one, chains that you were unaware were surrounding you start to break. Delay, uncertainty, and fear lose their hold. You can really feel the darkness's perplexity as it tries to figure out how you got into the trap. The fact is straightforward. You entered with permission rather than using force to get out. No gate of hell could contest the declaration that heaven had approved your release. What was supposed to ruin you is now a stage for your testimony. The song of your new environment is found in the book of Nahum, chapter 1, verse 13, which states, "Now I will break their yoke from your neck and tear your shackles away." The weight altered, not the world, which is why you walk lighter today. You no longer feel as burdened spiritually as you previously did. You breathe in freedom as if it were oxygen after years of deprivation. You are alert, not flawless, which is why the opponent is panicking. The schemes of evil fall apart. The once a chosen one discovers who they really are. In the face of revelation, lies become less effective. You have now entered the realm of understanding, and armor is knowledge. When you look at the old wounds, you see that they teach you, not define you anymore. The agony that used to silence you is now a language that heaven can use. It was your healing that the adversary dreaded, not your pain. Because those who have been restored speak authoritatively. Grace uses scars as a tool. You have an odd strength that you bring with you into this new season. Like the buzz of an engine that never shuts out, it is steady. You now perceive instead of reacting. You perceive instead of panicking. The battleground has changed. Right now, you're battling from victory rather than for it. Another stone was placed under your feet with each unwillingness to give up. Your evidence that God's promises were never unfulfilled is peace. Instead of being the victim of the storm, you are now its calm. The secret is now clear to you. Avoid battling shadows. Step into the light. What continues to go ahead is too fast for darkness to hold. Knowing who walked with you was a greater triumph than just getting through the door. You weren't the only one who emerged. The same God who calmed storms, divided oceans, and quiet lions is still standing by your side. The darkness is most frightened by the fact that terror can no longer reach you. Faith has rewired your brain. Your statements now have weight. Your prayers have strength. And there is presence in your serenity. The adversary is terrified of losing control over you. You now know that repose may be resistance, that tranquility can be a weapon, and that stillness can be conflict. Knowing that direction, not noise, is the best indicator of deliverance. You go silently. The one who was selected has crossed. Hell gives in, and heaven rejoices. This peace is forged, not brittle. Once again, the air changes. What was once a battleground is now a cleansing furnace rather than a place of devastation. Here, the light is more revealing and brighter. All of the impurities that were hidden in the shadows become visible. The holy fire is this. You're starting to realize that crossing the door was only the initiation, even if you first believed it to be the win. Freedom is the ability to withstand fire without losing shape, not the lack of it. As stated in Zechariah 13, verse 13, verse 9, I will refine them like silver and test them like gold. They will call on my name, and I will answer them. The refining fire is not your adversary. Rather, it is the sculptor's flame transforming gold into glory. God tests to expose rather than to destroy. Every hardship is a revelation, a peeling back of the layers that formerly concealed your innocence. In addition to the heat, you can sense his deliberate and calm hands. The fire is relational, not random. There's a reason why you're experiencing this purifying agony. It's cleansing, not punishment. The contaminants rise to the surface to be removed, much as when metal is exposed to heat. You are being polished, not burned down. The fire's voice is one of love, not rage. In the absence of refining, blessing would crush rather than crown. Gold waits for the refiner's reflection to appear on its surface. Right now, God is working on you until your character reflects his image. This is not a fast procedure. The fire separates. People you used to rely on could stop doing so. Once comfortable spaces may suddenly seem cramped. But that's clarity, not loss. When the light grows strong, fire shows you who can stand by you. In this place, every tear you cry becomes fire for change. The fire changes from agony to companionship when you start whispering, "What are you forming in me?" Instead of, "When will this end?" You collaborate instead of resisting. The only position that endures refinement is surrender. The fire follows you, not the other way around. It is a continuous purification process that keeps you useful in God's hands rather than a one-time occurrence. You will emerge from this season a changed person, stronger, cleaner, resilient, and radiant. The furnace is your anointing chamber, not your opponent. The job of the fire is done. You come out of it unscathed, but definitely altered. The air is fresh, lighter, and full of revelation. After passing through the door and enduring the purifying, you are now in a secret hallway that is only ever seen by those who obey. This place is peaceful, yet not deserted. Every sound reverberates with knowledge. The walls seem to be alive, throbbing subtly with the light of words you've spoken throughout your life. You understand that they are God's eternally etched promises. Knowledge seems to be carried by the air itself, as if revelation had a sacred and age-old aroma. The book of Daniel, chapter 2, verse 22, states, "He reveals deep and hidden things. He knows what lies in darkness, and light dwells with him." The hidden things are starting to come to light, and you can sense heaven's attention here. What used to seem enigmatic now feels alluring.